Hello, everybody. Welcome back to part 2 of our discussion for this week.
And we were over the United Sanctuary Nation, so we're just going to continue. I will talk about the Oracle Think Tank. And the Oracle Think Tank,
they're a very fun clan.
This clan was arguably, when the game first started, it was the meta clan because
I can say that, yeah.
Because of one card.
Are we thinking?
No.
Silent Tom?
Silent Tom.
Silent Tom.
This
Baby
card,
back BS Silent Tom.
This card was a perfect guard baiter because it forced your opponent to use them. Because let's face it, if your opponent perfect guards your CEO attack or your Tsukiyomi attack or whatever grade theory you're using, God forbid you hit double crit and you stick it on Tom and you have the 8K boost boosting him. That's a 26,000 attack coming.
Now you've got yourself a problem.
Yeah.
Triple critical and no grade zeros to guard that. That even against a cross ride, that is still
big enough.
3 grade 1 or 2s to drop to stop it. That's still a pretty hefty cost considering grade 2s and 1s are your main support.
And it wouldn't be so bad if it was one turn. No, every turn. Every single turn.
Every time.
Yeah, I was reading an article online. There was actually he originally was supposed to come out as a 9K.
Gosh forbid if we ever had that.
I mean 8K is good enough.
Yeah, 7K is the lowest. Well, 3,000 low. That's different. But 7K otherwise. 8K was fair.
9K, hell no.
Hell no.
Okay.
I can't deal with that.
All right, you get your pick: Angel Feather or Genesis.
I think myself, I'll go Angel Feather. You can talk about Genesis. You played it.
Yeah.
All right, so Angel Feather. He also plays Angel Feather too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm the only one that plays it. Definitely not. Gosh forbid, no. So what Angel Feather is they're basically angels, as the name says, but they are more of medical nurses that help out comrades on the battlefield and stuff.
Yeah.
So with this bearing in mind, they're healers and medics. Oh. Nearly as big as Booze McGee, who belongs to the reigning king of Bermuda, which brings to the fact Bermuda have some of the sexiest art in the game, but also some of the youngest looking ones, so you might want to avoid that depending on what your age group is.
Yeah.
So,
like you ask a 14-year-old, why do you play Bermuda Triangle? I think it's a good deck.
Yeah. I think you like milkshakes. I think that's what you like.
Yeah, I think that's what you like.
We're all saying that thing.
But
I like the artwork. That's all there is to it.
the artwork is fantastic. That's usually what draws most people into it anyway. They'll say, "Oh, I like this plan. I think I'll start with this plan." I know what you're starting with. Yeah, you want that.
We all know.
But the one thing I will say about Angel Feather, the damage zone is just another hand for them.
Yes, because the Angel Feather's main mechanic is switching cards from your damage zone to your hand, or hand to damage zone, and doing the same.
Damage.
I think my favorite episode that has the Angel Feathers in it was when Naoki faced Suiko for the first time.
Was he using armor break then?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was he's like, she keeps doing that.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm sick of this crap.
it's like, but okay, and then finally Genesis of the United Sanctuary. This is the new clan that was released in Season 3 that was used by Misaki. And Genesis, in my opinion, there is only one player I've ever seen to master the deck so quickly, and that's my good friend Ryan. Shout out to Ryan. Did you guys catch his match when he was here like 2 weeks ago?
I don't think I did.
He was facing Scott, and it is probably the best Genesis match I've ever seen. Came down to 4 cards, and he squeaked by. You know, that takes guts.
That's my man right there. That's my man.
So, good game. No, it was against Scott. Amazing game. But anyway, the Genesis clan, in my opinion, if you're going to play the deck competitively, you have to play Fortuna.
I agree.
But
I love that card too.
We got to wait for Minerva.
Yeah.
Minerva makes this deck what it's supposed to be. It gives it a Genesis Vanguard, a Genesis deck that creates hand advantage that can restand itself.
Yeah.
That and you have to only discard 2 cards.
Only 2?
Only 2?
Yeah, only 2 and counterblast
Much
2.
better than the other ones. You know.
So, okay, guys. So out of the United Sanctuary and to a nation that me and Zane know very well, and it is the Dragon Empire.
I do say, we might dare say rule this territory.
Yeah, so instead of us passing it back and forth, we're going to do these together.
Yes, I think that's only fair.
So the
we both
first
have a lot
clan we're going to talk about is You can make a case for the most broke clan in all of Cardfight.
I dare say
Vanguard.
so. I dare say so.
This clan has access to such legendary beasts known as Dragonic Overlord the End, Dragonic Novel Vague, soon to be Dragonic Overlord the Reverse. The Amber Ride Chain, I'm sorry, I thought was good.
Was it?
It's okay. Trust me.
In the show, in the show, you never got to really see it to its full potential.
But
I
mean,
it's the one clan you're thinking of. You know it, you love it. We gotta say it, Kagero.
Kagero. This is the Vanguard for Kagero is Toshiki Kai.
Toshiki Kai!
This guy, I am convinced he came out of his mother's womb on fire.
On fire and with
Because he
steadfast
was-
eyes, no pain.
If you're wondering what this thumb is here, that's my good black buddy Darren over here.
We went fishing.
The reason I call him my black buddy is look at this face. Doesn't he look like he could pass for Kevin Hart? Well, I think he's actually a couple inches taller than Kevin Hart. But anyway, Kagero.
Sorry, Kevin.
I mean,
if you're watching.
Zane, I have had so much fun playing Kagero.
It's a fantastic clan, and I love it to death.
I mean, Dragonic Overlord the End, and we're both building Vague.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
It's you know, Silent Tom said, you know what, I'm just gonna join Kagero.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of already briefly went over all the Kagero stuff, so if you want to hear more about Dragonic Overlord the Reverse and a couple of our opinions on the Kagero cards, please go visit the last week's discussion.
And
next, we're going to talk about Murakumo. Now, I personally have not had much experience with the deck.
I've had some.
I mean, okay, well then why don't you tell us about it?
Counterblast 1, Soul 3.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. Minerva for Genesis is Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 3. My bad.
That's still good.
Don't quote us on that.
Okay, but anyway, why don't you tell us about Murakumo?
So, Murakumo. Now, in the day, there was another clan that was somewhat similar to it, and it was called Nubatama.
And we'll get there.
And we'll get there. But before I say anything more about it, before, they only had 4 cards. Once they realized the fatal error of their clan, which I will explain later, they decided to replace it with a different clan called Murakumo. And Murakumo is a fantastic clan it's a rush deck if you love rush decks. I don't think it really has much potential past that. So what they are ninjas. Ninjas, samurais, well, vaguely samurais. Mainly ninjas. They call from the dark. When you place them on rear guard, they usually say if you counterblast or if you have something else, you just call another one of itself to a rear guard, and then at the end of your turn, you call it back to the bottom of the deck. Basically, you don't have to waste as much hand as you were once expecting to, but you get off your attacks really quickly, and I think there's 2 or 3 types of crit triggers for it, so if you wanted to be really rushed, you could, but again, it swarms the field really quickly. Sometimes your first copy of it will stay, of course. So, they're not bad.
It does get a lot better in set 14 when they get their reverse unit.
Oh, yeah, they're right.
Aoki reverse.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, now for another clan that both me and Zane know very well, and you could say is another one of the top 5. You could say is one of the top 5, I'd say.
It's always done well.
This clan has access to such beasts known as Dragonic Kaiser Vermilion, Dragonic Kaiser Vermilion the Blood, Dragonic Descendant, Dungaree, Unlimited, soon to be Tempest Bolt Dragon.
Gauntlet, Bowing Sword Reverse, just so many names that we can't argue with.
And of course, we are talking about the Clan of Thunder known as Narukami. Narukami we've seen used by a lot of players in the show. We've seen Kai use it. We've seen Shingo use it. But I think it's safe to say that the main user of Narukami is Naoki Ishida.
I would say so too.
Even though in Season 2 they do admit that Kai was chosen by not only Kagero, he was chosen by Narukami.
Yes.
But Narukami, I think it's a little more control-y than Kagero.
Yeah.
Because for the time, Vermilion, it's like, okay, I don't want to just attack your vanguard, I'm going to attack your front line.
Yeah.
And
we don't like your rear guards, really. Front row, at least.
And you can't intercept, and you got to guard each and every one of these attacks one at a time.
Yes.
So
so much hand could potentially be lost when you're fighting against an Origami, no matter what clan they're playing. Oh, version of it, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, and Set 12 just recently they got the very first cross break ride in the game for the American meta.
Yes.
Eradicator, Vowing Saber, Dragon, which I'm very interested to see because the next two English episodes of Vanguard will be the one where Naoki gets reversed. I'm going to be interested to see how reverse fighters are portrayed in English.
I want to see that as well.
No Jeff Dunham stuff.
Yeah. All right, now we're going to talk about the clan that we connected with Nubatama.
Yes.
I mean, with Murakumo, and that is Nubatama.
Nubatama, yes.
And Nubatama, you only saw appear in the show once in the first 2 seasons, and that was played by Ninja Master M. And he would lose to Aichi and pass his cloak and stars, if you will,
Yes.
to Morikawa.
The great one, Morikawa. Yeah.
Obsessed with great.
Okay, well, Nubatama finally gets new support in Set 13. And when I mean new support, they get
it
a break
all.
ride, they get a perfect guard, they get a new boss monster that just says, I'm going to bind your whole field.
Yes, but bear in mind, of course, again, we only had 4 cards. Now, the reason why we're getting new stuff is because back then, their whole mechanic was making sure your opponent had less cards than you after a while. Anytime they would hit, they want you to discard cards. New stuff, it's more about binding, I would say. It's more fair a little bit, but their abilities are pretty
A
cool.
little bit, but
If they continue down the same route they were on before,
This
Top
look,
tier.
Look at
been the meta.
I'm sorry. Is it fair to say that your hand is the most important thing in this game completely?
Well, yeah, I've made the reference. In Yu-Gi-Oh! On a scale of 1 to 10, card advantage is about a 7. In Vanguard, it's a 28.5. Because the second you lose your hand, it's kind of like Last Card Revan says. You can either lay your hand down or just surrender. But, okay, and the last clan that we're going to cover for the Dragonic Empire is Tachikaze.
Yes.
Now, do you have any experience with this at all?
I've never played it,
All
personally.
right, well, Aaron, I know you have had some
He's
experience with Tachikaze, so why don't you briefly explain Tachikaze?
They love retiring themselves. They
Yes.
get bonus out of it. Yes.
Titty grabbing good.
Yeah.
Titty grabbing good.
Oh, well, guys, what are you going to do?
Ancient Dragons.
but yeah.
And plus, like,
Yeah.
Amazing deck. Honestly.
Yeah.
If you want to know how to play the Tachikaze, I suggest you go back and watch in English the episodes where the episode.
Colonel guy?
No, the one where Izaki plays Aichi. Because if you listen
Oh,
very
yes,
carefully to what
yes.
Miwa and Kai tell him, he tells him how to play the deck. When you're playing a Tachikaze deck, you do not want to drop your hand in early game. You want to hold it. Because Tachikaze, their superiority shows in the late game. This deck, it gets
Really
extremely hard to deal with in the end game if you are not preparing for it. I will say, if you are a rookie against Tachikaze, you're more than likely going to lose. Because you're just thinking, okay, break ride, he gains an extra crit, that's fine. And all of a sudden, he's in the 40s and he's triple critical, and it's like,
What do I do now?
What do I do now?
So, Tachikaze, guys, is it's probably it's
It's an underrated clan, I would say.
And you
It's an
can
underrated clan, but it really does take skill.
and it's
to play.
very
It's skillful.
very cheap.
Yeah, because not many people go for it, but when you can get it, I'd recommend it try. It's a clan completely of Dino Dragons. It's not just dinosaurs; they're Dino Dragons.
Yeah.
I've seen guys.
some
I've
humans.
seen the fully built Tachikaze decks post set 11, fully built with 4 perfect guards of Ancient Dragons,
Yep.
4 break rides, and 4 Tyranno Legends. I've seen them completely built on eBay for $70. So if you are looking for a good budget deck,
That
Tachikaze
can definitely
might be
do
for you.
something. Yes.
So I just would tell you, be very careful in your very first few games. It's going to take some time to learn how to master this deck.
You must practice it.
So, guys, this concludes the Dragonic Empire.
Yeah.
So we're going to cut it off here, and in part 3, we will be talking about the
Dark
Dark Zone. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching,
Rate,
and
comment,
continue
subscribe.
watching.